I did win locals yesterday. It was 4 rounds, and we're gonna take a look at the games today, and the matchups, and also learn a little bit about how Kewl Tune plays. We've got locals gameplay lined up. Round 1. I didn't film the dice roll on this, by the way, but I rolled an 11 with 2 dice, and they rolled a 12. So they're going first.
Let's go. Stand by main.
And instantly, as you can see, we're doing the thing that this deck wants to do. We're drawing a bunch of hand traps going second. Also, I've drawn 2 Stone Sweeper, which, like I said earlier, is the worst starter in my deck, but it's better than having no starter. And we're up against Hecka Hands, the kind of things that you only encounter in Genesis format at the moment. Opponent starts with the hidden Hecka Hands, which searches a Hecka Hand. It searches a Hecka Hand monster, and you can also pay additional cost on activation, but they didn't do that because you have to send 1 other card from your field to the grave. So we've got a classic Justice Hunters matchup, which I guess in advanced constructed format is where you get the not Justice Hunters. In advanced constructed you get Justice Hunters matchups. In Genesis format you get to play Phantom Revenge format. Okay, so he gets one of the Hecka Hands that reveals themselves in the hand and special summons one from the deck. I don't know if that's Yadel or Iptel. One of them specials, the other one searches. This is the one that specials, and they're special summoning Hecka Hands Gaigas. Gaigas is, I had to read most of the Hecka Hands cards. So Gaigas is reveal the top 3 cards of my deck, and then they can steal a monster from there. And I know that they can do some pretty nasty things if they steal my monsters, so I decide to Mourner the Gaigas. Because it's not a quick effect, it's an ignition effect. So I'm Mournering it, so they can't steal my my top deck. All right, and now they reveal the other one, which now searches one. And this is a really powerful card that at the moment I actually can't play through. This is Ip al Hecka Hands, which is a monster negate. It's basically totally awesome. It negates a monster and then destroys it, and then they can steal it. So really powerful card. Now they activate something that I'm actually very happy about, and is actually one of the biggest downsides of Hecka Hands, is they're using the graveyard effect of the hidden Hecka Hands, which forces your opponent to draw a card and discard a card. The idea behind this is that this triggers Hecka Hands cards in the hand to summon themselves. But at the same time, this gives me the opportunity to increase the quality of my hand. As you can see right there, I drew the Kewl Tune field spell and discarded a card I had multiple of in my hand anyways. So I was able to just discard my duplicate Stone Sweeper. And I top deck a Synchro Overtake, which is phenomenal. And I wouldn't have had that if they didn't give me that chance. Now, what they have here right now is they have Hecka Hands Godos, which is the hand trap one, the one that you special from your hand when your opponent adds, and then you can steal a monster from their graveyard. And they have the Hecka Hands counter trap, which is really problematic because it negates, destroys, and takes my body away. So that's something I'm gonna have to maneuver around. So I'm starting with my worst starter here because I want to bait out the trap first if I can. I don't want to start with the overtake. And I do know that Hecka Hands also has a spell trap version of that counter trap. That's why I start with the field spell, because I don't want my Synchro Overtake to get negated. And the Kewl Tune field spell gives me a it gives me a second normal summon, so I'm using my additional normal summon here for Rekko, which to my surprise they let it go through. And this is where I'm learning about my extra deck options with Rekko. So essentially at the moment when you summon Rekko and you search for a not level 3, that means you have to search for a level 2. So I'm going to be searching for Mix here, which is the monster pop. And that means with Rekko and Mix, I have two options. I can make either the level 5 Remix, or I can make the level 5 RS, which are the two that require Mix or Rico, respectively. So I can make a level 5 Synchro here, and I can trigger the Monster Pop and the Spell Trap Pop, which honestly is why I feel like if they knew what this deck does, which, I mean, it's the first time for both of us, I'm pretty sure, playing against each other's decks. It's my first time playing against Heka Hands. It's their first time playing against Cool Tune. If they knew what Cool Tune did, I think they were forced to activate the Counter Trap on the Rico, right? Because what I'm going to be able to do now is make a level 5 Synchro with Mix and Rico, and then I can use Rico's Graveyard effect to force the Counter Trap anyways. Here I bell the Godos, quite frankly, because I'm thinking maybe there's a chance that they negate it with the Counter Trap, and also because I have no idea, once again, first time playing against Heka Hands, I have no idea if Heka Hands maybe has like a way to do something with my monster on my turn, right? Like maybe they have like a quick effect to fuse, and then because they have my monster, they can make a more powerful fusion monster with that. Like that was something I was scared of. I'm not sure exactly how that works. I think they do have a quick play fusion spell. Harders. Yeah, they do have a... I think we see it in a later game. I think we see it in a later game. All right, and now I do a Synchro Summon with Mix and Rico. I'm deciding between RS and Remix. Unfortunately, both of these... This is another thing that I found with Cool Tune the first time playing it. Both of your level 5s don't really advance your game state much on your own turn, right? Both Red Seal and Remix are mostly useful on your opponent's turn, which means if you go into a level 5 here, it doesn't like extend your plays in any way. It's just kind of like this is going to be your the thing, right? RS, of course, if you're playing into a board, RS is really useful because it can negate a face-up card. So like if, let's say I pop one of the face downs, I can negate another card on the field with RS, which is neat. And also, RS, this is something I underestimated, okay? RS has 1700 attack and gains 300 attack per tuner in the graveyards. This card gets so incredibly big so fast. I was really surprised by that. Like, you read that for the first time and you're like, okay, well, that's gonna be like, I don't know, 3 tuners, 4 tuners or whatever. But no, dude, if you resolve a combo in this deck, you discard 1 or 2 hand traps, maybe your opponent discard, that thing has like 4000 plus attack almost every game on turn 2 onwards. It's crazy.
Chainlink 1 Cool Tune Mix, den zu zerstören. Und Cool Tune 2, Cool Tune Rekko 2, die zu zerstören.
Okay, so I'm doing... this is pretty obvious. We're doing Mix 1 and the Monster Pop 1, Spell Trap Pop 2, because in case they negate the if they use the Counter Trap, then we still get the Monster Pop. And honestly, the way they've been looking at this card every time I activated the monster effect, basically, which is why I thought that this one was the Counter Trap for Heka Hands. The monster negate, basically, like when I normal summon, they were like, okay, look at this one. And so I thought this one was the monster negate one, so I targeted it because I wanted to get rid of it. And it is the, it is in fact this one. So they right there, they thought that their Counter Trap was still gonna steal my tuner from my graveyard, which is not the case, because this card is worded just the same as Totally Awesome. Basically, it says negate the card, destroy it, then you can take it. But if you negate a graveyard effect with it, you're not destroying the card, therefore you can't steal it. Here I attack the Godos. I forget about the illusion effect. I forgot that it has it can't be destroyed by battle. The reason why I attacked it first to walk you through my thought process is I didn't want to activate the synchro overtake while they have a Hecka Hands on the field, because I know that there is a Hecka Hands counter trap that's the same as the other one, but for spell traps. So I didn't want to play into that. I was like, you know what? No problem. I'll just attack it first and then play in main phase 2. And then it didn't die. But they did take damage.
Würde ich Synchro Overtake aktivieren? Ja. Da zeige ich dir einen Cool Tune Mix einen Cool.
All right, so main phase 2 activates synchro overtake. Luckily, it is not the Hecka Hands spell trap negate. And since I used Cool Tune Mix from my hand to synchro, I can still use it to search. And I can here. I think I remember. Yeah, I made a mistake here because I forgot that I still have a normal summon in this game. I have used my additional normal summon, but I still have my regular normal summon because of the field spell. This is something that I forget here. I could have grabbed Cool Tune Q, normal summoned it, and gone crazy with it because I could have gotten Red Nova and kept going. This is something I missed in this spot because it's, once again, this is my very first game playing this deck. So yeah, I think I just searched clip here and passed, which honestly, you can make an argument for searching clip here anyways. Wait, why is Rico in my hand right now? No, Q. Wait, did I normal summon? Why did I search Q? See, that's the thing, right? Even after I've played 4 matches with this deck now at locals yesterday, and now I'm looking back at my first match and I'm already questioning my plays. Oh, because I can't search clip, right? Right, okay. This is something, in this first game, I mixed up the graveyard effects of Q and clip. I thought this one was the extra deck banish, when in reality this one is the main deck banish. This is corrected in game 2. In game 2 I noticed this. I think this is the only time this happens in this game, where I activate Q's graveyard effect, which Q's graveyard effect is look at the opponent's top 2 cards, banish one, and then leave the other on top or bottom, which, by the way, would have been a lot better here, because I would have been able to manipulate their top deck, which is something that I really underestimated in this deck. When you play a game with this deck, basically, you always know what your opponent is going to draw, and you can always manipulate it to the point where, look at the top 2 cards of their deck. If one of them is a bad draw, you can just leave it on top. If one of them is an important resource, you can banish it. If both of them are good draws, you banish one of them and put the other to the bottom. Then you won't know what they draw, but you know, you've eliminated 2 potential good top decks from them. So Q's graveyard effect, actually, I thought it was the worst of them, but I actually think it's actually really good. I really underestimated it. So in this case, it actually would have been a lot better if I knew that that's the one I'm doing, because then they are really low on cards. I could have manipulated their top deck. I think it's because when I activated Mix, I was thinking about searching clip, then I realized I can't search clip, and then in my head I got it mixed up. That's why they're doing a random extra deck banish here. In this matchup, the random extra deck banish doesn't matter. So it's whatever. I hit a Hugin. So I kind of know what's going on here. But I want to point it out. This is something that can happen when you try a deck for the first time. I mixed up. This is not what should have happened. I should have banished from the top of their deck, which would have been better for me here, but it is what it is. And in game 2, I noticed this. In game 2, we do this again. We make the same mistake, or I make the same mistake, but then I realize it and then we revert it. It's fine. I don't think it has a big impact on this game. Here they have Runic Flashing Fire in the end phase to hit my remix, which is annoying because that is something I cannot stop with RS, because RS can only negate in the main phase. I use Rico. I lose Rico and Q here, which is really annoying. They draw for turn. I don't know what they draw because I did the wrong effect. And I basically don't have anything other than this red seal right now.
5, 6, 7 Tuner sind dafür.
How do they summon Hugin? They can't summon Hugin. They told me after the game they forgot that they don't have an EMZ in Genesis format.
Stand by main.
This is a cool situation that the field spell gets me in, is because here every single tuner is basically follow-up. I can just normal it, and then I can use JJ Cool Tune to tribute it and get any Cool Tune monster.
Ich würde einen Ghost Ogre normal. Dann würde ich den Effekt von JJ Cool Tune aktivieren. Da muss ich einen Tuner tributieren. Und dann kann ich einen Cool Tune vom Deck auf die Hand nehmen oder special. Ja.
Du kannst antike Antrieb, Golem und Monster der Stufe 5 oder höher liegen.
Das wäre dann...
Kannst du dem Spiel zu gewinnen, Geschäfte aktiviert hast, keine Karten setzen. Kannst du einen Antriebsvorschuss.
Ein Cool Tune Reco. Und der triggert dann, um einen nicht Level 3 Cool Tune zu suchen.
Also du gehst Special, nicht auf die Hand.
Die Special, ja genau.
This should have probably been Special Summon Cool Tune Mix, Search Cool Tune Q, and then Extra Normal Cool Tune Q.
Dann suche ich mir
Wenn diese Karte aktiviert wird,
wieder einen Mix.
wenn zum Beispiel ein Fielspell, der wie zum Beispiel SO würde, den er auch im MST ist.
Da hast du gesucht.
Der ist auf der Hand jetzt, ja genau. Effekt Godos, Target.
Did you like Ghost Ogre? It was honestly a lot of the hand traps that I played across the day. You're gonna see it. Some of them were pretty good, but for the most part they were awkward. Here they tried to bell my red seal effect because it banishes from the grave, but it banishes for cost to negate a card, so you can't bell that. I negate the Godos with red seal, so I can run over it later.
Dann würde ich synchron, den 2.
And here I just make a second red seal, use mix to pop the Godos, and this is game. It's a scuffed first game.
Kann ich ein Monster bei dir zerstören?
Because we were both kind of like learning what our decks do. But yes, both of these red seals are incredibly big. There's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 tuners in the grave. There's 9 tuners in the grave, which means both red seals are boosted by 2700, which means these are both 4400.
Beide plus 2, 7, die haben beide 4, 4.
Is 8800 damage
Was ja eh
from the two thingies. So yeah, all right. That's the first game. The Q thingy was a little bit of a problem. I sided Cosmics in because I saw the counter traps as well as the runic cards, of course. So I took out Ghost Ogre because it felt really mediocre against Ghost Ogre felt really mediocre against the Hacker Hands stuff, but maybe I should have kept it for Runic Fountain. But I decided to side out Ghost Ogre. It probably should have sided out Bell instead of Ghost Ogre. And while they shuffle, I just take a look at some of my cards in my extra deck.
auch ein gutes.
All right, we have an opening hand with no hand traps, all engine. And this trap card is going to come in very handy. You'll see in a second why. They start with the Runic Tip.
Ja. Ich weiß.
For Fountain, they hit Cool Tune Clip. They were sniping my Cool Tunes left and right with this in this game with the Runics. It was actually kind of scary. All right, Fountain has been established. Activate the one that specials Gygas. It's also worth pointing out it's a very small thing, but I noticed afterwards when I looked at some of the Hacker Hands cards that they are technically resolving the Hacker Hands hand effects incorrectly here. They're supposed to shuffle into the deck before you resolve, like before you summon. What they are doing is, I think they're putting them to the bottom after they whatever. It's locals. They didn't know exactly how it worked, but like they're supposed to be shuffled into the deck, not at the bottom. Whatever.
Obersten 3, ne? Ja, was passiert
At least I'm pretty sure that that's how it works. Hold up, let me just make sure that's correct before. Hekahans Iptel. Hekahans Iptel is... reveal this card in your hand, shuffle this card into the deck, then special summon a Hekahans from your deck. Yes, they are not at the bottom. They do get shuffled. But let people learn their decks at locals, man. It's whatever. All right, and this is, you can see it's starting to be a little bit of a problem. They've already stolen 2 of my cool tune monsters from my main deck. So some of my, I'm gonna have some trouble with these. Okay, so this thing is a contact fusion. Dude, when this deck works, you can actually see some quality with the Hekahans cards as well. Like, I'm not gonna lie, playing against this deck, it felt, there was moments where it felt kind of neat. Both of these decks have some really cool plays, I think, but like they're not powerful enough yet. They're definitely not powerful enough yet to see any impact on Advanced Constructed. But the fact that you can play these in Genesis and see what they're supposed to do is kind of nice. But yeah. So Hekahans, I think this is Hekahans Jowza, which is a contact fusion of 2 Hekahans monsters, but you can also treat one monster that's originally owned by your opponent as a Hekahans. So basically they steal my monster and then they use it as a material for the contact fusion. And Jowza searches a Hekahans card, which is going to be Hekahans Tartarus, which is a quick play fusion spell. And they're using the hidden Hekahans to search for Hekahans Breus, which is a hand rip, basically. Hekahans Breus, not a super consistent hand rip, but it says look at one card in your opponent's hand. If it's a monster, you can special it, which is really disgusting if it hits. And then they activate Golden Droplet, which is, this is one of the key synergies between Runic and Hekahans, is because all of the Hekahans trigger when your opponent adds a card from their deck to their hand. You can force them to do so with Golden Droplet. I will say it's not the greatest synergy, because giving your opponent a free card just to be able to play is not the greatest, but it does work here. So what they're doing is forcing me to draw a card, which is going to be an Ash Blossom. And I'm going to lose 4 cards off the top of my deck. Another Cool Tune monster was there. I think that was another copy of Kewl. Or Rico, I'm not sure. But like, I'm losing. At this point, I've already lost like 3 Hekahans monsters without even playing the game. They're doing Chainlink 1 Fountain, Chainlink 2 Breus, which is basically chain blocking the fountain draw, so I can't Ash it. Now they basically fixed the thing earlier. They now shuffled, so it's whatever. Draw 2 for the Runic Fountain. The 2 Runics are at the bottom now. Breus is on the field, and at the moment they have, as you can see in my hand, a 4 out of 6 chance to snipe a monster. I have 4 spell traps and 2 monsters. So I'm just hoping that they don't pick a monster here and they hit a spell, so nothing happens, which I think is one of the biggest downsides of Hekahans. Once again, if this thing does not hit a monster, then it basically does nothing. So, yep. Champion's luck. Okay, it's not luck. A 4 out of 6. It would have been unlucky if they hit. Come on, can I get average outcome once? You're so used to me being high rolled in Master Duel, dude. Come on, man. All right, Tartarus to fuse. Banish one you can banish stuff from the graveyard for this as well. And then they make Hekahans Xeno. This thing is pretty massive, as I'm about to find out. It needs 3 Hekahans monsters. It's actually pretty wild, this card. So what it says is you look at 2 random cards from your opponent's extra deck and you just summon one of them. So yeah, good thing for this matchup that I'm using all of my Hekahans, all of my Cool Tunes as 3-ofs, because otherwise there would be a chance that this thing really messes me up. So they just look at my extra deck, steal one of the cards, and then last thing they do is activate Dimensional Fissure. Isn't that awesome? This is a quick effect, by the way. So they can do this on my turn again. And this is an illusion monster. It cannot die by battle. It's 3,400 attack. And if it gets destroyed by card effect, you can steal as many monsters from your opponent as you want. So you steal their entire board if it gets destroyed. The bigger problem, however, is Dimensional Fissure for my deck. So all of my Cool Tune monsters all of my Cool Tune monsters only trigger when they get sent to the grave as synchro material. So, Dimensional Fissure kills this deck. Dimensional Fissure kills this deck, and it's 0 points in Genesis format, so I'm not too surprised that Runic Heckahands is playing it. But okay, I have a 7-card hand, and in this moment, I'm trying to figure out how I can out this card. Now, looking back at this, I think, realistically, I have 2 potential ways to out this card. Number 1 is because I have a tuner in my grave that got discarded on my turn. I have the opportunity. Oh wait, no, it didn't get discarded. They stole it and then Contact fused it away, and they activated the defissure later. So like they stole it from the top of my deck, and then so I have a tuner in my grave, meaning I can activate the effect of Cool Tune RS to negate a face-up card on the field during this turn. So I can negate the Dimensional Fissure maybe. However, getting there is going to be relatively costly, of course, because I'm gonna have to like synchro summon without taking without getting the graveyard effects. This is disgusting. This was disgusting. This Freezing Curses banished 3 Cool Tune names. I have a total of 12 Cool Tunes in my deck, and they've already hit 3 of them. 3 of them are already gone. So at this point, there's in my like 30 something card deck, there is 9 Cool Tunes total, and they banish 3 of them with Freezing Curses. Which is pretty annoying.
Die ist ja in deinem Zug schon im Friedhof gewesen. Das war die du letzte Runde genommen hast. Alles gut. Ja, ja, alles gut.
All right. I have another out to Dimensional Fissure, which is the route that I'm going to go down. Is I'm going to decide to play it a little bit slow if I can. I'm going to extra normal summon my Cool Tune Rico here because of the field spell, and that's going to search for a Cool Tune. And the line I have here is actually kind of interesting, because what I decide to do here is I'm going to search a Cool Tune clip if I have one left in my deck. And I'm gonna make use of Cool Tune Playlist. Cool Tune Playlist lets you target a Cool Tune monster in your grave or on your field, and apply its Synchro Material Graveyard effect, which is on Rico, destroy a spell trap. So what I can do here is I can set Cool Tune Playlist on their turn. I can use Cool Tune Playlist, bounce the Rico back to my hand, pop the Dimensional Fissure, and then I have Clip in my hand to play on their turn after the Dimensional Fissure is gone, which I think is the line I'm choosing. So I'm going to go ahead and activate the Duelist Genesis here. I'm going to search for a Cool Tune Synchro, if I get to, and they chain Golden Droplet to force me to draw a card. I think they're trying to let me banish all my Cool Tunes. I think they're really going in on this, like I'm letting my opponent run out of Cool Tunes. But I draw a card for this, so I don't really mind it much. I think I let it go through. I could Ash it, but I draw a Cool Tune Synchro, which is the card I was going to search, and they hit one more Cool Tune monster out of my deck. And now I'm resolving the Duelist Genesis, but I'm like checking how many Cool Tunes do I even have left in my deck, and the answer is 2. I have 1 Clip and 1 other left in my deck. So I have exactly 2 targets for these 2 Cool Tune Synchros. Yeah. So it's, even though I have an out to the Dimensional Fissure and I have ways to still play on their turn, it's kind of awkward because I'm just running out of Cool Tune monsters, because their runic hits were really, really tough for me. Making RS was even more names banished. That was the thing, right? If I search for, if I make RS here to negate the Dimensional Fissure, I've basically exhausted a bunch of my plays for the game already, and like I might not be able to play from here on out. So I decide to do the thing where I out the Dimensional Fissure on their turn and just hope I can get there. Here's another thing. if I can get a really big... They don't have a battle phase, so that's the other thing. It's not that hard for me to take it a little bit slower here, because they can't attack me anyways. Right? I can just out the Dimensional Fissure, take some time, so that not all of my cool tunes get banished. So I'm going to use Playlist here, bounce the Rico, pop the Dimensional Fissure. They don't really have anything to punish this. I'm going to draw one here because they used the Hidden Heckerhand's Graveyard effect, and I'm going to discard a Duelist Genesis. How many battle phase skips are they on too? This is not how runics work. Runics stack. If you activate, you can activate 10 runics, you still have to only skip one battle phase. All right, I draw one, I discard one. That triggers Godos in their hand. And now I'm thinking. I'm thinking because I think they want to do another contact fusion with my monsters and their Godos. So I'm trying to get rid of the Godos. They steal another card from my extra deck, which, once again, really good that I'm playing all of these at 3. They reveal Trackmaker. This was, honestly, this is the most outrageous thing that happened in this match, because this is my one collector's rare Trackmaker. I have 1 collector's and 2 supers. They got the collectors. I was kind of mad at that. I'm not gonna lie. I was kind of mad at that one. The one I wanted to make. Did you randomly pull the collectors? Yeah, I got all the cool tune cards in low rare because I didn't want to pick up that many collectors, but I pulled 1 Trackmaker.
Und Synchro-Beschwöre dann mit den 2. Einen Cool Tune Remix. Und habe dann Trigger. Und zwar habe ich einmal Cool Tune Q, um das vom Extra Deck eine random Karte zu banishen, und Cool Tune.
Okay, this is the one that I referred to earlier. This time I banish a random card from their extra deck with Q, but we fix this in a few seconds. I realize when I reread him that this is not what it's supposed to do. So I'm destroying the Godos to prevent them from making a contact fusion. We do a random extra deck banish here, but we revert it in a second because I realize. And I hit Freaky! We get Freaky in here! I think it's because I realize I have Cool Tune Clip in my hand, and that's what that's supposed to do.
Also der hier sagt, die Field Spell sagt, nur meine kriegen einen Push und der da kriegt Angriff dazu, solange ich Tuner im Friedhof oder auf dem Feld habe. Also der hat 1500 Push durch seinen eigenen Effekt, außer der negiert jetzt.
Does this deck have any way to recycle banished? I don't think so. At least as of now, unless I'm missing something, I don't think so. So there's a few ways to recycle from graveyard. You can do Synchro Overtake, can special from grave, which is something I realized later. The trap card can target a cool tune from field or grave, so you can also recycle from the grave with the trap card. You have cool tune remix to summon and add back from the graveyard as well. But from banished pile, I don't think there is anything. Rico, Mix, and Q. Oh wait, can Q summon from grave? Yes, Q summons from deck or grave as well. Yeah, okay, nice. And this is where I realized we resolved the wrong effect, so we fixed it now. It's fixed now. All right, I banished the hidden Hacker Hands and put the other one to the bottom, because they're both starters. Is there any way to recycle playlist? I don't think so. I feel like they really could have given playlist a graveyard effect to like somehow get back the hand or something. Trackmaker is on special summon, so Q can bring Trackmaker back and search. Ooh, that's cool. I don't think I've done that. I've definitely not done that because I didn't know Q could summon from graveyard yesterday. Is your opponent playing Cool Tune as well? I loved this first round, all things considered, because it really, it was my first game with Cool Tune, but it also was my first game against Hekahans, so I'm really happy we have it today, because I think, like, even though this is Genesis format and the decks are lower power level, I think both of these decks are kind of working as intended here, right? Like, we're not playing, both of us are not playing perfectly, both of us are not realizing the full potential of our decks because we're both relatively new to them, but still I think it does a good job at showcasing how these decks are maybe supposed to play, like, or what the idea behind the archetype is, right? And Hekahans is supposed to do this. Like, you're supposed to, like, summon a bunch of dudes, steal your opponent's monsters, turn them into bigger dudes, and have a little bit of, like, interruption on the opponent's turn. That's what this deck is supposed to do. And my deck is supposed to do all the synchro shenanigans, right? I think it's very interesting to see.
Dann überlege ich End of Main.
Deck Doctor stream is tomorrow, right? Yes, Deck Doctor is tomorrow.
Ich würde Cool Tune Clip aktivieren.
All right, and since they can't attack me, they are trying to end their turn. So now I'm doing Cool Tune Clip before they end, and I'm making Cool Tune RS, which, even though a majority of my tuners are banished, this is going to get relatively big. And I have Cool Tune Rico's Graveyard Effect to pop the Spell Trap. And here, I just re-banished the Freki, because that's the one we hit earlier, and they just put it back to the top. I was like, okay, you know what, let's do that. And now everything is as it should be. The clip has now resolved. Freaky is banished. Fountain is popped. They skip the battle phase, so they can't attack anything. Remix says during your opponent's turn, but I decide to keep it. I'm not sure why. I could have tagged out and made another RS, which would have been pretty big. So here the problem is the following, basically. They are also, they are pretty much out of resources, but Hekahan's Xeno is really big, can't be destroyed by card effects, and also cannot, if I destroy it by, cannot be destroyed by battle, rather, and if I destroy it by card effects, it steals my board. So what does work, there's two ways this can work. One way is I could try to bounce it with Trackmaker. The problem is all of my Cool Tune Qs are banished. I don't have the play available of, like, Tribute 1, Search Q, Summon Q, Summon Red Nova, make Trackmaker, synchro with the Trackmaker, and bounce it. I don't have the luxury to do that right now because because all of my Cool Tunes are banished, basically. So I'm working on very, very low resources right now. What I can do is I can negate its effects with RS, removing the illusion trait of not being able to be destroyed by battle, and then I can run over it if my RS gets big enough. I have to banish one from the grave to negate the Xeno, and then I have to get enough tuners in the grave. But here I'm looking at my banished pile, and I see, like, basically everything is gone. I have one Cool Tune monster left in the deck. There's a Q in graveyard, technically. Yeah, I should have maybe used Remix in their end phase to get it back. Right now, I'm just trying to figure out how I can get enough tuners into the grave, because I need 6 tuners in the graveyard to run over the Xeno with Red Seal. Because if I have 6 tuners in the grave, wait, does RS gain attack for tuners on the field? No, just the graveyards. Okay. Could have made the new Cool Tune 10 synchro. That's something we're gonna do that after. We're gonna talk about the possibilities with the new support once we've kind of, like, learned how the deck works. But What I'm gonna do here is technically a misplay because I tribute my Cool Tune remix to summon Cool Tune Clip from my deck, which is the last Cool Tune monster I have. This is the last, basically the last Cool Tune play I have. What I'm gonna do, right now I have 5 tuners in my grave, so my RS is at 3200. I'm going to crash my Clip into the Xeno to put a 6th tuner into the graveyard. What I should have done is just attack over the Track Maker. Because the Track Maker has 0 attack. I don't know why they summoned it in attack mode, but now I have 6 tuners. Now my RS is big enough. The Xeno is negated by RS's effect, so I can attack over it. I should have attacked over the Track Maker. I didn't realize it was an attack with 0 attack, and it would have gone to my grave, and it would have been plus attack on my RS as well, but yeah. They activate the one in the hand that summons one from the deck. I decide to not ash it because I'm afraid that this game is going to take a little while. It's going to take longer. And if I ash this now, it's just going to stay in their hand and then it's going to be a problem next turn. So I decide not to ash it. Now they make another Jowza. And then actually this Hecka Hands has a graveyard effect to reset a Hecka Hands spell from the graveyard when it's sent to the grave. So they reset Tartarus, but I do Mourner the Jowza because it's not a quick effect to search. So this is the spell is not set yet. It's Chainlink 1 thingy, Chainlink 2 Mourner. And then the Jowza gets negated. And then they have a Tartarus set. And Tartarus, I don't know how big Tartarus is, but it's not bigger than, not Jowza. Jowza is not bigger than RS. I have 1, 2, I have like a bunch of tuners now. It's like 4100. And I Cosmic the Fusion spell because I don't want to deal with that. The Cool Tune Synchro I have face down is useless because I have no more Cool Tunes in my deck. This is all we're working with for the rest of the game. I negate the Jowza and attack it because otherwise it could not be destroyed by battle. And now we are slowly but surely trying to walk this game home with a single red seal that we have. Everything else we can't really do anything with. I have Ash and Bell though. I think about setting Bell here real quick, but I'm not sure because they might attack over it with Remix. And here I draw Synchro Overtake, and this is the first time I realized Synchro Overtake can summon from graveyard, so that actually does give me a play.
Ich würde Synchro Overtake aktivieren. Zeige dir Remix und kann Mix damit auch aus dem Friedhof beschwören. From your deck or graveyard, ja. Dann würde ich Mix Special.
Alright, summon Mix, no effect Mix because I have no targets. And then I can Synchro with the Bell, and I can just make another red seal. Wait, no, I make Remix. Oh no, I can't make red seal because I need Rico for that. Right, that's why I went for Mix. Because now we have Remix. Did forget to use Mix's graveyard effect here. Oh, I remember why I didn't. I thought Loudness War protected both of them. I should have used Mix to pop the Loudness War, because Loudness War only protects other tuners, not itself. But that's why I didn't use Mix. I thought I couldn't target both of them. They can add from... Wait, both of them can add from grave? Oh! Dude! They all add from deck or grave! Dude, this matchup would have been so much easier, man. It would have been so much easier, dude. Oh, dude, and I was Dude, I never added from grave yesterday. I was struggling with follow-up the entire day. I was like, dude, I always run out of monsters. How is this supposed to work? But they top deck tip, by the way, which is crazy. But okay, dude. Yeah. See, this is why this is good. This is why we're doing this. This is why this is important, because there's so much to learn when you play a new deck, dude. Yeah, I played on hard mode. This is a cool play, by the way. They activate tip. They activate tip to search. They have fountain on the board, so I know that they are about to activate fountain to draw cards, right? So I chain Cool Tune Remix to perform a synchro summon on my opponent's turn. So I bring back Rico. I add back Q and Rico, and I make a Loudness War. And now I'm gonna deactivate Fountain as Chainlink 1 because they're turn player, and I have Cool Tune Rico that was sent to the grave as synchro material. Chainlink 2, pop the Fountain. Chainlink 3 Q to manipulate their top deck, and that's gonna be the end of the game, basically. And now the next card they draw would be a golden droplet. And they scoop it up. All right. See, it was a messy first match a little bit. I didn't realize that they could summon from the graveyard or search from the graveyard, which is massive, especially in this matchup. So that's good to know. I forgot about the additional normal summon from the field spell, I think once or twice, which could have helped in some turns. And just in general, you know, it's like it's a very good showcase of what a first game with a deck can look like. But it was, all things considered, it was pretty fun. You know, both Hecka Hands and Cool Tune, I think it was a good showcase of what the decks are trying to do. And yeah. Yeah, Q also summons from graveyard. Okay, that's okay. So actually they do have a lot more graveyard recursion than I thought, which is really good, because otherwise, yeah, we're gonna see this in some of the other games where I do run out of monsters, or not all. I don't run out of all monsters in the other games because there's no runics involved, but there's definitely games where I'm like running out of Ricos or running out of Qs or running out of Mix, and I struggle to get them back. But yeah, okay. Hecka Hands is in the bag. We've learned a lot about the deck. Let's see how round 2 goes. This time. All right, where are we? Go. This time around, I do win the dice roll, and I open a lot of engine here. I open 1 Veiler and 4 engine. I have Stone Sweeper, Mix, Field Spell, and Clip. So this could have even been multiple interruptions going second because I had Clip plus Mix. I start things off with Stone Sweeper. Maybe I should have not done this in case of Droll. I wasn't anyone expecting to play Droll. To be honest, I will say I think they played next to me the round before. I know they're playing Fire King in Genesis, so they don't have points for Droll and Lockbird. Are you running a level 8 synchro in case of hands like these? I do not. No, I don't have. I did realize this, that like sometimes if you draw Field Spell plus Stone Sweeper, you could just special it as a level 5. So maybe you could play a synchro for it, but I did not. I've been drawing the Field Spell, even though it's a one-off. I've been drawing the Field Spell yesterday like it's my job. Like I've been drawing it a lot. I didn't hate it though, but it also didn't feel amazing. The Field Spell is kind of weird for Cool Tune. You drew the one-off Field Spell 3 out of 3 games so far. Yeah, it's like it'd be better if that was like a really good card, but it's just okay. But it's specifically neat with Mix because I can normal summon Mix and then I can still normal summon Q. Right? And then I get Fuwad in Genesis, which tells me actually they're not playing the full Fire King package, because I think the full Fire King package you would be at 100 points. So they have to be playing only 1 Olkinix. So I get Fuvat here. I get Fuvat here. And I'm thinking like, what do I do? Because I mean, I have a clip in hand, so I can play on their turn. I get a second normal summon for Rico. And honestly, I think it could be okay to just pass here. I search another copy of Cool Tune Clip, so I have Clip and Q in hand. And I decide to give them one draw to make Track Maker to search a Cool Tune Synchro. That way, I have 2 ways to Synchro Summon on the opponent's turn. I have the I have Cool Tune Synchro and I have Clip in hand. I think there is multiple options here. I get more nerd on Track Maker. There's multiple options on what to do here to play around the Fuwalos. I could have just passed with these two. I could have just passed and relied entirely on Cool Tune Clip as an interruption to give 0 draws to the Fuwa. I could have made Remix and passed with Remix. That's honestly, looking back at yesterday and how I've played, like, you know, the things I've learned about the deck, I think the best thing to do here was probably to just make Cool Tune Remix with Q and Mix. So use the Q from hand. The Q from hand would have made sure I can look at their top deck, right? And then I have Remix and Rico on the board, and Remix on the opponent's turn is really nice, especially because I have Veiler in hand, right? So I can Veiler, then I can use Remix to special one from grave, add the Veiler back from my hand, Synchro, interrupt that way, use the Veiler a second time, and then I can still use the Clip to Synchro later. So that's probably the thing I should have done here. But yeah, I make Track Maker. It gets more nerd, so I don't get the search from it, but I do get an extra grip, and I hit the 7th Tachyon target to search Olcanix. So if they have 7th Tachyon in hand, it is now a dead card, which I'm really hoping for.
Okay.
You could even use the Rico on board as synchro target, so your resummon mix can resolve for another search on remix. We're gonna see this later, but that is my favorite play in this deck, or at least the favorite play I've made yesterday. There's probably more to it, but my favorite play with this deck is to summon Remix, and then on the opponent's turn, you tag out with the Remix, you special back a Cool Tune from your grave, but then you perform a synchro summon with not that one, right? You synchro summon with another Cool Tune you have. You leave the one you brought back with Remix on the field so that you can still trigger its search effect. That way you generate so much card advantage, but you still disrupt your opponent with the Remix. I think Remix is the most fun card in this deck. This deck has a pretty high skill ceiling. Yeah. I would say so. I mean, I definitely, I can already see the things that I've messed up and could have done better even after playing it for one day. So yeah, I think I agree. It's like, this is one of the most appealing things about this deck for me, is that I feel like at first glance it seems like it doesn't do much, and it really is relatively minimalistic in terms of its disruptions and stuff like that. So it's the kind of deck where you really have to optimize well to get the most out of your interruptions, because if you don't, then it's definitely not good enough. And for advanced constructed, it's definitely not good enough. Yeah. Isn't this deck like Synchro Draco Tail? It's not that far off, I would say. It kind of is. It doesn't feel like you're playing a similar deck, but in the way it interacts with the opponent, yes. It's relative, you minimalistic combos, nothing like you're not doing 20-step combos with this deck. You're not doing that with Draco Tail either. You've got minimal interruptions, right? Like you've got like a pop for monsters, a pop for spell traps, a bounce, stuff like that. You know, a little bit of interruption from the extra deck and from the like banishing a couple of cards, I guess. It's not as efficient as Draco Tail, I think, at this point, right? I don't think it's as good or efficient, but it's kind of similar, yeah. Which is probably what I like about it. Because I mean, you know, I'm a huge fan of Draco Tail, and this deck in some ways feels relatively similar. It feels like basically the control style approach that they've taken with Draco Tail, but for synchro players, right? Which I think is cool. What is missing to become good? That is something I want to spend some time on later once we've watched these games. I want to reevaluate the new support with the experiences that I've made with this deck now, right? Because once again, I said this earlier, analyzing the new cards is much harder when you've never played the deck. So now that I have played the deck, even though I haven't played it perfectly, but I've learned a couple of things about it, we can take a look at the new support again and maybe reevaluate. Another thing, by the way, another thing that I grossly overestimated is the synergy with this deck and level 3 hand traps, by the way. Like, I realized when I played this deck, level 3 hand traps in your hand suck ass. Like, I mean, they basically, they have some synergies because you can make remix with mix and a hand trap. But for the most part, it would be so much better to have level 1 or level 2 hand traps, like that are Veilers, that are like Veiler or even the Psyframes. I didn't want to play Driver, that's why I didn't do that. But the main thing is that it's really, really difficult in this deck to make Trackmaker. Trackmaker is a really cool card in this deck to make on the first turn because it searches you your spells or traps for interruption on the opponent's turn. But it's really hard to make because if you normal summon a level 3, the only thing that you can use in your hand is a level 1, and there is no cool tune level 1 yet. And if you summon a level 2, you would need a level 2. All right, so they activate Island on their turn, and I decide to go in with Clip because I want to get rid of that. So Clip and Rico from the field are going to make Red Seal in defense position. I'm choosing defense position to avoid Fire King from crashing into the Red Seal. And I'm going to use Clip's extra deck banish here again and Rico to pop that island before it can do any damage to me. And after this is done, I still have a Red Seal negate for any potential play afterwards. But we are going to be popping Island here to stop it from getting them into the Fire King engine. They've got 4 cards in hand, and with the information we've gathered so far, I think this is a pretty likely play to work because we know that they spend points on Fuwa and Mourner. That means they cannot possibly play the full Fire King package, right? Because what are the points on Fire Kings? It's like Olcanix is expensive. Kirin has like 10 points, and Ponix also 10. I think it's like 40 Olcanix. Olcanix isn't Olcanix like 30 or 40 points? 20. Olcanix is 20. What is Kirin? Kirin is 10, and Ponix is also 10. So if they wanna, Ponix is 5. Ah, dude, I'm just gonna look it up. I'm just gonna look it up real quick. Hold up. Genesis. Fire King. Olcanix 20, Kirin 10, Ponix 10. Yes. So they can't possibly be playing all of the Fire Kings if they're playing non-engine with points, is what I'm trying to say. And we hit the 7th Tachyon target with Clip, so they can't have 7th Tachyon as a starter either. Here we hit the Garunix Exceed, which could also matter if they only play 1. However, they probably play multiple of that. Island activates. We have 1 more Red Seal negate for another starter. They've got 4 cards in hand. And they pass.
Ja, dann zieh ich.
Draw a Ghost Ogre for turn. And now we have normal summon Q. And then we can start cooking.
Dann würde ich meine Additional Normal Summon für Q benutzen und Q-Effekt ansagen.
Olcanix 20 is too much to be fair. No. I think the points on this deck are actually very justified. Fire King is freaking strong in Genesis format. Dude, that deck is really, really powerful. It does not need to be any better than what it is. Like, it's fine that way.
Eine Red Nova. Rest.
All right, and here Q summons Red Nova from the deck.
Synchro-Beschwörung verwendet wird für ein Monster, das 2 Tuner verwendet, beschwört sie einen Feuerfiend aus dem Deck.
And Theo, I guess one small thing that I thought was kind of annoying for this deck is when you have,
Ja.
like when you make Trackmaker, it's just small. Trackmaker is just small. They have Kirin plus Jurak, which is scary, but I do have Red Seal for the Jurak Meteor, so they cannot break or they cannot wipe my board with it, which is neat.
Ja. Noch was?
And that's what they're realizing right now. They're like, oh well, if I go for that now, then I just get negated by Red Seal, so it doesn't really do much.
Okay, dann geht's weiter.
And Red Nova and Q, I just make a second Trackmaker.
Ich mache einen zweiten Trackmaker. Und hätte dann Chainlink.
Zeren makes this deck way better as well. Yeah, I was really missing. I mean, of course, that is also due to me not playing the deck well because I'm not experienced with it yet. But like, there's a lot of moments where I wish I had more extra deck options to go into.
Excavate, also offen.
All right, and this is where I start realizing how powerful Q's effect is mid-game, because you just like manipulate their top deck and you're like, okay, I know you're not good. They weren't able to play last turn, and next turn they're drawing Dominus Spiral.
Soll man nächstes oder soll ich weitermachen?
And that's honestly like they're just going next now because they know what they draw next turn and they know it's not a play and they're like, okay, you know what, I've seen enough.
Ja, wenn da jetzt Skyber Set gewesen wäre, dann hättest du den
And yeah,
forcen können.
so that is the power of Q in the middle of the games, I guess. Against this matchup, I'm siding in Cosmics and DD Crows. And I think I'm taking out a couple of hand traps. Like, I think Mourner is mediocre against the deck. I'm hesitant on keeping all 3 Ghost Ogres because if they open Island, it's really good. If they open Sanctuary, it's really bad. So it's a really hit or miss card. So I'm siding out some of them. I'm siding out some Veilers as well. The Veilers should have probably stayed. Because what I said earlier, it's a really good level for this deck, Effect Veiler. It's better than level 3.
Wer beginnt?
So should have kept Veilers in, but I didn't know that yet at the time. I have a solid hand for going second here, honestly. Have Cosmic, Mourner, and 3 good engine cards. I mean, Synchro Overtake, Cool Tune Synchro, and Cool Tune Rico is pretty solid for going second. And you play Hop Ear in Genesis? You could play Hop Ear Squadron in Genesis. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's good because it only works if you can already play the game. It doesn't really do anything. It's also not a hand trap unless you also have Clip. You'd have to draw like Clip plus another like mix or something and Hop Ear for it to do much. But if you do that, then it's good. If you play the Cyframes, it could be good. You could maybe you could make a version with Hop Ear Squadron and Cyframes, and then the Hop Ear Squadron has like a somewhat decent chance to be a good hand trap when you draw it with Clip or a Cyframe. Sure, yeah, I could see that.
Okay.
All right, game 2, they open with, I think they're one of Olcanix.
Sehr, sehr, sehr seltsam, ja. Ja, du hast schon recht. Das ist schon sehr, sehr, sehr komisch, was da passiert. Ja.
How many points is Gamma? Gamma is expensive. Gamma is like 15.
Nur Ponix?
Yeah, gamma is 15, epsilon is 7, delta is 7. So the psi frames are pretty expensive. Playset gamma for 45 isn't bad. Yeah, I mean, yes, you could play 3 gammas if you wanted to. I don't think it's the worst. Their hand is insane, by the way. I decide to mourner the Ponyx because at the start of their turn, they complained about their hand being weird. So I thought it wasn't as broken. It turns out their hand was Ulcanix, Megalo, and Island. Which is outrageous that they complained about their hand. So, honestly, you could have made the argument. This is a funny spot because I could have kept the Mourner to play around the Dirac Meteor because this is the one moment where Mourner actually works on your own turn because Dirac Meteor is mandatory. So it actually triggers before Mourner even in TCG. So I could have, honestly, looking back, maybe I should have kept Mourner for the Meteor, but honestly, I was just hoping that if I Mourner the Ponyx, they don't have Island and they can't get into all of this. However, of course, obviously that was not the correct read, and they have basically now the full Fire King setup plus the Dirac in the graveyard. So now it's borderline impossible to beat this board, even though my hand is really strong. I have basically the 2 best extenders in my deck and a normal summon. So a really strong hand, but honestly, I don't think I can beat the Fire King interruptions with this. Like, this is just way too good. If I had the Mourner still in hand, then to beat the Meteor, then maybe. But even then, like, they can dodge Mourner with Kirin. And also, if I don't Mourner the Ponyx, they have Fire King Skyburn, which I believe they have anyways. I'm going to Cosmic the back row here, because Cosmic King Island wouldn't do much. Cosmic Island, it does trigger, but it wouldn't really do anything. I'm just cycloning the back row. Yeah, hitting the island here doesn't really help. Oh no, it's Final Bringer of the End Times, not Skyburn. So they would have had Skyburn on top of this if I didn't Mourner, so which would have also made it basically impossible, even with Mourner. There is, like, it's... I'm still trying to play into this, and I guess we can talk about if maybe there is a world where I could have done this, but I mean, look at how much follow-up they're already generating. So if I basically if I can't kill this turn, then I'm gonna be cooked. So like, the Exceed brings back Ulcanix and Berong. Ulcanix pops the Berong to search Arvata. That triggers Onyx in hand to search Skyburn. Now I know from their hand Arvata, Skyburn, and Kirin, so they can trigger the Garunix at any point whenever they like. And then they can pop a Kirin. The Kirin can summon the Arvata for a pop, and then they have a monster negate after. Everything triggers when it's destroyed. This is so hard. And like yeah. I don't really know what to do here. All right, so I overtake into a mix. I mix for Q. Actually, I think there might be there is an interesting line here that I'm just now seeing. I'm not sure if it leads to a win, but I can talk about it in a second. Hold up, I'll show you what I did, and then I can tell you what I'm kind of like seeing now. I'm gonna normal Q here.
Und den Effekt ansagen, um einen Tuner aus dem Deck zu beschwören.
I summon one from deck.
Das wäre bei mir jetzt.
I think I decide against Red Nova here because it's not guaranteed to stay on the board. So I decide to get my search with Rico instead, I'm pretty sure. Would you say Fire King is stronger than Dragon Ruler in Genesis? Probably, yes.
Genau.
Make RS pop island, then normal Q. Make RS pop island. Hold up. Make RS pop island. Island triggers. That triggers Garunix. But I can negate the Garunix on the field. But then they chain Kirin to dodge that negate. No, it doesn't work. It does not work, right? Because they summon Garunix. I try to negate it with RS. They chain Kirin to pop it. Then Garunix destroys another Kirin from the deck. That Kirin activates, summon Arvata from hand, pop my RS. Right? You had a line here to make double loudness war, I believe. That's what I'm getting to. Yes. That I want to talk about that in a second. So I'll show you what I'm doing. I'm showing you my thought process, but I think now in hindsight, I see a better way to play it. I think there's a better way to play this, which is not guaranteed to work. But okay, so I chain Cool Tune Synchro here to the Jurak effect. And what I do is I search, I think the Cool Tune Trap here, which I'm not sure if it's correct.
Suche ich mir eine Cooltune-Playlist und mache Synchro. Die sucht irgendeine Cooltune-Karte, ja. Die Trap ist ein Cooltune im Feld oder Grave targeten.
So I can perform a Synchro Summon here, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna Synchro Summon Cool Tune Loudness War. I think it's the first time we're summoning it today. Cool Tune Loudness War says other tuners you control cannot be destroyed by card effects. Also, they can't be targeted by card effects. So I'm protecting half of my board here, basically. Pretty much. I'm summoning Loudness War. This is going to get destroyed by the Meteor because it does not protect itself, but the other two will survive. That was my thought process. The problem here is that Loudness War does not protect itself, so I'm still losing a lot of resources to this Meteor, and the Loudness War is still going to be gone, so the protection is going to be gone. I think now that I'm rewatching this, I think I had a better line to maybe threaten double Loudness War, because this is something that could have been really big in this matchup, is if you have two Loudness Wars, they protect each other from card effects. So let me rewind real quick before I normal summon this Q, because I think I'm committing too many bodies at this point, and I can't protect them all because I can only make one Loudness War. So right here, let me see if I have a moment where where you can see my hand well. Stop hand shuffling, dude. All right, so okay. So I have Clip, Cool Tune Synchro, Rico, and Q. What I should do here probably is I should make Track Maker with Clip and Mix. Track Maker searches a second copy of Cool Tune Synchro. And Cool Tune Synchro is not once per turn. So as soon as I have resolved the Track Maker to search a second Cool Tune Synchro, in theory, I have the option to activate both Cool Tune Synchros in one chain. So I can make double Loudness War in response to the Meteor, right? So basically, that means as soon as I summon the Track Maker, at this point, I cannot make... Hold up, let me, okay, you know what? Let's do this. So the board state is the following. I have Clip in hand. I have Mix on field. I have Rico, Kewl, and Cool Tune Synchro in hand, right? This is the board state. This is the board state. If I use these two to make Track Maker, honestly, probably don't have to use the mix to pop one of their monsters because it's Fire King. There's no point in popping them. They would just trigger Garunix preemptively. So I'm gonna resolve the search of Track Maker here, and I search for Cool Tune Synchro. Now, the thing is, I haven't normal summoned yet, and at the moment, I cannot make this play of activating both Cool Tune Synchros to make double Loudness War, because right now I don't have enough stuff on the board to do that. But as soon as I normal summon, I will, right? So if they want to prevent me from doing this, which I doubt they would have, I doubt they would have seen all of this coming, but they would have to do like the Meteor now to pop the Track Maker in order to stop me from this. Because as soon as I normal summon Q, let's say I normal summon Q, activate effect, and they chain as soon as I summon. I'm not even sure if I'm summoning Red Nova here or if something else would be better. I think Red Nova would probably be incorrect. It would probably have to be Rico. Yeah, Rico to search. Let's say here they activate Meteor to, or they activate the Jurek Engrave to summon Meteor, right? So I'm resolving Rico. Let's just search. Let's search a mix now. I'm not sure if that's correct or not. Then they summon Meteor and activate its effect to pop the entire board. What I can do is I can chain both copies of Cool Tune Synchro. I'm gonna get 2 searches. Probably mix and then synchro into 1 Loudness War with the mix. I get Loudness War. Second Cool Tune Synchro resolves. I search for a level 3. I couldn't just get another clip, actually. I get another clip. And I synchro Rico and Q into another Loudness War. Right? Like this. And now everything... Oh, I can also search spell traps with this. I could also search the field spell to make these big, but I'm gonna be honest with you, that's not a win con against Fire King, right? Because they can just pop the field spell then. So let's just say I do this, right? And now nothing here, none of my tuners can be targeted or destroyed by card effects, right? So this is my board state when the Jurak resolves, so it doesn't destroy anything. And then I can just keep playing. I don't have much after, though. I'm not sure if it's winning, but I can still make a red seal or a remix after. These two, right? What is Fire King going to do if they can't destroy? This is the biggest problem with this card. It only says cannot be destroyed by card effects. Fire King actually has no problem attacking over them with a big Garunix. And this is the problem. So I think it would be hard either way. Oh yeah. Forgot to say Treasure Week. Maybe I have one more card in that scenario. I'm not sure. I think I added one with Rico. Maybe I didn't. I'm not sure. But yeah, okay, wait, we saw what we did, what I did. So the Meteor happens. I make a Loudness War. The Meteor blows up just the Loudness War. I still have 3 cards in hand. So this just destroys my 1 Loudness War. I like this. I feel like I'm just scratching the surface of like this deck. RS can negate Garunix. You're gonna see this actually in this game. We're gonna get to a game state where I still summon 2 Loudness Wars and they out it because they just Arvada my negation, basically. But I think I might actually be able to win if I do that play that we just looked at. Yeah, Loudness War can also... Loudness War can also force Arvata though, right?
Ich glaube, der hat, ja, der hat den kennst du. Wir brauchen einen Cool-Tune-Tuner und einen Tuner. Also nein.
Was macht die Karte, wenn die...
Spelltrap-Schüssen. Monster.
How good is Loudness War? I hope we get him as a mate. Also, is Red Nova worth playing with Rico? Red Nova, you definitely play one copy. I'm not gonna lie to you. I think Red Nova might even be good in multiples, because if you draw it, you can just synchro with it from hand and still make Track Maker and get a free special summon. I think it might still be good. You don't play Red Nova after the Cool Tune level 1 comes out? I'm not sure if it might still be a good one of after the next one. Like even then, isn't it good? The Rico into the level 1 could still be a decent play. But maybe not. Maybe not. The new level 1 in hindsight though is insane. I didn't know how desperately Cool Tune needed a level 1 tuner.
Das ist dieselbe Quickfire.
Genau. Die ist twice bitte.
Ja, kannst du nicht. Kannst du mir der totale Fan Zauberfallen Karten anziehen, zum Beispiel anweisen. Das ist praktisch für dich. Du kannst, wenn diese, falls diese Karte auf dem Spielfeld ist. Achso, nee, das war normal.
I don't need Rotary anymore. I don't need Red Nova anymore because Rotary is so cracked. I could see that being the case too. Rotary is very, very good. Here, this is more like a desperation play because I do kind of see that it's not gonna work, but I kind of hope that they don't see a way to out it. I still have a line here for double Loudness War, because I can still activate the second copy of Cool Tune Synchro in my hand. I do hit a Meteor, which might be the second one, and they might not be able to do it again, which could be neat. Well, yeah. Good thing you didn't cut the 3 Veilers for 1 more Ash. Yeah, that's another thing, right? On paper, you're like, oh, well, Ash is a much better card than Veiler, so I should try to fit it. But level 1 tuner seems much more helpful than level 3 tuner in this deck. I tried playing the new Cool Tune support. I got destroyed by Sheena like 4 times. I mean, it might still not be the best deck. I'm not saying that, but like for the concept of the deck, the new cards are really good. Alright, end of main, they go Kirin, pop Arvata, trigger a bunch of their effects. I kept Cool Tune Synchro in hand so I can make a second Loudness Ward to protect my stuff from getting popped. But they just print card advantage and follow up and removal here, so I'm forced to make a second Loudness Ward to not lose my board. Activate Kirin. I chain Loudness War to banish Mix to pop a monster. So I can pop the Kirin. And then I chain Synchro from hand to make a second Loudness War.
Ich suche Q.
I know you just bought the GoPro, but I've seen a lot of people use meta glasses to film TCG POVs, and you don't have to strap a camera to your phone anymore. I don't know. I've gotten used to it. I'm kind of happy with how this looks. I guess I could maybe look at some footage from the meta glasses to compare it to, but yes, I did just buy it, so I think I'm gonna keep doing it this way for a while. It's okay. So now I have double loudness war, but that's all I have. So that is not gonna be enough here.
Ja, ja, passt.
Seems like a bad investment for just a bit more convenience. Honestly, I don't mind doing it this way. And yes, I've just bought a new GoPro. I'm not gonna replace it right away just to have glasses instead of a camera on my head. It's okay. So basically, if they do this properly, then they win, and they do end up doing this properly. So essentially, what my plan is, their way to out this loudness war is to summon a monster with more than 3,000 attack, which in their deck is Garunix after it pops something from the deck. So my plan is when they summon Garunix and activate the effect to make it bigger, I chain loudness war to banish Mix to pop it. Or banish Trackmaker to return it to the hand. So that they can't out the loudness war. And the problem is I can't do this forever, because eventually I'm going to run out of Trackmakers and Mix in the graveyard. So if they can do this every turn, then I can't keep up. And also they have Arvata here, which they're going to use to negate my pop. And that is basically going to make me scoop it up, because I see that they are doing it properly. Yep. Same thing with the trap, just copying the effect, not the cost, so it's non-target. That is not true. No. If you're copying an effect, I'm pretty sure you still have to target for it. That's how it works with transaction rollback. If you want to copy the effect of a trap that targets, you still have to select the target on activation. So that is how it works with the cool tunes as well. If you are copying the effect of Mix to pop a monster, or if you're copying the effect of Rico to pop a spell trap, you have to still select a target when you do that. So those are not non-target pops. They are not. All right, opening hand for game 3. We've got double synchro overtake. We've got the field spell once again. Cool tune synchro and cool tune Q. A lot of engine, really strong hand. I decide to start with cool tune Q and activate its effect. And I get hit with Fuva another time, which honestly, I don't think they play 3 Fuvas in Genesis in this deck. I don't think they have room for 3 Fuvas. It's not unlikely that this is like a 1 or 2 of that I got hit with in game 1 and game 3 going first. So at this point, I'm a little bummed out about the fact that I started with Q. Maybe I should have started with Overtake, because Overtake says you can summon it or add it. So if I activate Overtake and they Fuwa, I can just add it to my hand and give them no draws. But with Q, now I have to summon from deck. I could summon from hand, I think, but that's something I didn't know yesterday. Also, I didn't have anything in hand. Q says from hand, deck, or grave. Yeah, I could summon from hand. Is this Genesis? Yes, this is Genesis, but the cool thing about cool tunes is you don't notice a difference for a cool tune. It's the same deck in Genesis and it constructed, which is a problem for cool tune players, but it does mean that at Genesis locals, I can still get the experience of the deck, basically, which is nice. There's basically no change between the 2 decks in Genesis format and Advanced Constructed. You could chain Quick Spell to search and then summon from hand. I could do that, but realistically, I'm not going to be setting up much of a board here under Fuva. and the Cool Tune Synchro Quick Play spell is one of my best ways to interrupt on my opponent's turn, so I don't want to chain that here. So there's no point in going for Red Nova, because I'm not going to be doing all that under Fuba, so I just go and set up the maximum amount of interruptions on my opponent's turn. I go Special Rico, Surge Clip, and I also go Activate Synchro Overtake, because that will allow me to search for a mix, not summon it. I can just search it. So right now, I have a bunch of cards in hand, I have Follow-Up, and I have 2 ways to Synchro on the opponent's turn. I have Cool Tune Synchro, and I have Cool Tune Clip. And I'm extra normal summoning that mix as well, which is neat, so I can get more card advantage. They drew 1 for the Rico summon, yes. Alright. Now Mix searches another queue for follow-up. And then we set Synchro. We have a couple of ways to play on the opponent's turn. Honestly, considering it's under Fuva, it's not that bad. Especially for Genesis format. You know, we have 2 plays on their turn, which lead to multiple interruptions. We can make Cool Tune Remix. We can make Cool Tune RS. We have a bunch of things we can do here. They start with Ponix. They start with Ponix for Skyburn, which is basically telling me that they have Island in hand already, or Sanctuary. I'm hoping it's Island directly and not Sanctuary, because once again, it makes a huge difference for my deck whether they have Sanctuary or Island, because I can just pop Island. I can't pop it when it's with Sanctuary, though. Did they show Impulse in previous games, or does it cost too much? I'm pretty sure Impulse is too expensive for Fire King in Genesis. Impulse is like 20 or 25. I don't know exactly. It's very expensive. Fire King can't play it. And unfortunately for me, they actually have Sanctuary, which is going to make interacting with this island a little bit harder. I activate Cool Tune Synchro. I activate Cool Tune Synchro as my first layer of interruption. I search follow-up, and then I'm gonna synchro. Honestly, I could be using 2 from the field here to keep more follow-up in hand. But my goal here is to basically make Red Seal. Because I want to negate the island instead of... I can't pop it because Sanctuary is there. So my biggest hope here is that I can... is that I can stop the island, and then they don't have more plays. Wait, this is level 6. Oh, I make Loudness War. Why did I make Loudness War? Oh, no, I see what I'm doing. Right, okay. The idea is I pop the Sanctuary now with, I pop the Sanctuary now with Rico, and then if they activate Island, I chain Loudness War, copy the Rico, pop the Island. Ah, that's what I was trying to do. Okay, that also makes sense. Alright, top 2 cards with Q, Twin Twister and Dogoran. Gonna banish the Dogoran and keep the Twin Twister on top. Pop the Sanctuary. And now if they were to activate Island, I could just pop it with Loudness War. I also go in with Clip right away. Maybe I'm trying to make the RS as well. Yeah. I'm not sure if it was necessary to do all of this at once. but it's, yeah. Okay, so here's RS, and then clip extra deck banish. The reason why I think the red seal here is the cleaner line, instead of I don't think I should have committed to the loudness war. I think the cool tune synchro should have just made RS, and I should have held the clip for future plays. RS is cleaner here because if I use loudness war to pop the island in graveyard is going to trigger, and that triggers Ponyx, and then they can still trigger Garunix in hand, basically. All right, random extra deck banish hits a Jirak. Okay. They usually play multiple of that, so it shouldn't matter.
Das sind Quick Effects, oder?
Ja.
Und zwar. Warte. Wie von dir jetzt?
What do you think, Josh? Is the grind game bad because the recycling in this deck is huge with Mix and Rico? I can't answer that question because I'm not gonna lie to you, we figured this out earlier, but I played this entire locals yesterday, not realizing that Mix and Rico can add from graveyard. So I had big trouble in some of my games managing my resources because I always added from deck and then I ran out of names. So I played a nerfed version of this deck yesterday. I played on hard mode. So yes, yesterday I had some problems with grind game, but now that I know that they can add from graveyard, I think it's a little bit better than I experienced it, probably. Okay, this is troublesome. They have Ultimate Slayer to bounce my Cool Tune Loudness War. And now they have Malong in the graveyard to force my Rico, which is really annoying. My RS, rather. I activate RS, banish a Rico from the grave to negate the island, making it so that they cannot trigger it. It gets bounced by the Malong, and I'm just hoping that they don't have, like, another play here. I know they have Skyburn. As well as island that's negated. All right, and I have guaranteed follow-up with Q here, so I'm just hoping like they can't do much here. They are thinking for a long time, so that makes me a little scared because that means they do have options, right? Like if they had no plays, they would just be passing like they did in game 1. So I'm a little scared here because I'm not gonna lie, if they get into their Fire King lines here, then I might be in trouble. Can't your opponent look at your hand on the cell phone? I guess so. It's locals. It's not that deep. Maybe. It's relatively small on the phone. I don't know if they can see it if they looked, but I just don't think anyone does. But it's Genesis locals. Everyone is there to have a good time. It honestly, I doubt anyone does. Did you test the Naturia card in Cool Tune? Which Naturia card are you talking about? Oh, Rose Whip. I didn't have it. I did not have Rose Whip. So no, didn't play it. Or the trap that says your opponent cannot do anything. Do you mean Gravity Collapse? The one that's like Tribute to Synchro? I also did not play that. I just wanted to get the gameplay experience off this deck. I didn't want to win because I'm locking my opponent out of anything. I just wanted to see like what kind of interruptions, what kind of interactions does this deck have? and so on and so forth. So it's like, yeah, maybe there's ways to make it more powerful, but my purpose yesterday was to try and learn this deck and try to see how it works. And if I just normal summon Q and special a Floodgate from the deck, that's not really what I'm trying to do. But yeah, maybe that's good.
Den Mix möchte ich nicht aktivieren.
Rose Whip is broken. Gravity Collapse seems win more. Maybe there's matchups where Rose Whip is actually necessary. All right, so I summon RS and I negate the Skyburn, so that way I'm triggering. I'm not triggering the Runics. And here, my job now is to figure out a way to have game without triggering Garunix in their hand, because I think what happened last turn when they thought about whether they should pass or play, I think they have Garunix in hand. They thought about whether it was worth activating Skyburn to trigger it on their turn and start pushing, or if they just set Skyburn and push on my turn when they activate Skyburn, pop the Ponix, trigger the Garunix. I think that's what they were debating. So I do think they have the Garunix in hand here. So I'm trying to figure out a way I can win this game through Garunix, which basically means I have to avoid destroying this Ponix. Which I think I can. I think this line I'm taking right now, I'm gonna lose to Nibiru, but we're going in. So basically the plan is get enough damage and bounce the Ponix with Trackmaker is the plan. All right, Q, we knew the Twin Twister on top, but now we know the next card is a Mulcharmy, which is nice, good to know.
Der Malong ist Tuner, ne?
Ja.
Okay. Nee, aber das geht drum, die Fieldswell sagt, dass diese Loudness War 3-3 Angriff kriegt, wenn du einen Tuner im Grave hast. Achso. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Tuner. Plus 1.
Nefarious Aladi, thank you for the 15 months. Hey Josh, I want to apologize for my teammate vanity locking you guys in the 3v3 a couple weeks ago. Where did I get vanities locked? I don't remember. Oh, Drytron? Were you on the team with the Drytron player who summoned Vanity's ruler? It didn't happen to me. It did happen to I think it was Zio. I think Zio got full comboed by Drytron in T2 trials, and then they summoned Vanity's ruler. Yeah, I remember that.
Ich suche mir einen Q-Tune.
All right, Trackmaker, search Synchro.
Dann würde ich ein... Ganz kurz rechnen. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8...
Here's something very funny right now. The reason why I can go for game here is because Malong, that they have in the graveyard because of Ultimate Slayer, is a tuner. JJ Cooltune says, if your opponent has a tuner on field or grave, Loudness War gains 3,300 attack.
Synchro Overtick.
So my level 6 Synchro in this deck basically is now a 3,300 beat stick
Einen
because Malong is a tuner.
Mix aus dem Deck. Und den habe ich die Zone noch nicht aktiviert, deswegen würde ich versuchen, einen zu suchen. Da ist wieder ein Q. Die habe ich schon beschworen, ja. Meine Normals habe ich eh schon beide gemacht.
We know that, but we didn't know we can add from grave. All right, dude, leave me alone. Leave me alone, okay?
Für Clip. Und das...
Du hast alles schon gemacht, bis auf Extra-Wechsel und Master, oder?
Die Grave-Effekte? Ich meine ja. Genau, das macht ein Remix.
All right, Q plus mix, make remix. Not gonna trigger the mix here to pop the Onyx. And then we're full committed. We're hard losing to Nibiru here, but I doubt they play it because I saw a lot of other non-engine already. I saw Fuwas and Mourners, and they're playing Fire King, which has a lot of points. So probably no Nib here. We go in for the 3,300 attack Loudness War, and now we activate Trackmaker's Graveyard Effect to bounce Ponix to avoid destroying it with the Garunix.
Der ist wollte ich die ganze Zeit erreichen.
It's funny, we hit the same Jurek again, so they probably don't have the Jureks anymore. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 infinite tuners, like 11 tuners. This thing is like 5,000 attack.
Und er hat 3000 Dings einfach. Hast du einen Garunix? Ja.
Yeah, they had Garunix, and that's game. So we take down Fire King, and I will say, even though the play was not perfect yet, it did get a little bit better, I think. We did some little bit cooler combos in the second round compared to the first round. I'm starting to get a little bit of the vibes of it, you know, of the deck at least. I'm starting to develop a feel for what it's trying to do at least. I'm still not playing it perfectly, but it does get better. That was round 2. I had to hop away shortly after round 1 started. Yes, round 2 was relatively long. It was a pretty grindy round against Fire King. That was the longest round of yesterday. We almost went to timeout there. I think it was like a 48-ish minutes round. The next 2 are not as long though. But yeah. All right, round 3.
So, jo.
That's pretty loud.
Done?
All right, I lose the dice roll. I go second. I have Cool Tune Synchro, Mix, Q, Overtake, and Effect Veiler.
Ja.
Normal Dark Blade.
Ach,
And it's Memento,
Sag ist okay.
which is freaking scary.
Bin ich wählern.
Gamers, I'm not gonna lie. We discard the Veiler, and we pray. We pray.
Scheiße, du spielst wieder so einen Fusion 3 oder? Fang an.
Stark.
Ja, wahrscheinlich gleich wieder bei Männer.
Alles klar, zieh ich eine.
Ich bin immer noch dramatisiert. 2 Männer.
Stand by Main.
The Veiler was enough. Let's go. And the hand is crazy, by the way. We have good normal summon, best 2 extenders in the game for this deck. I mean, we have 3 normal summons to be fair, which isn't ideal, but come on, man. The hand's pretty good.
Normal Summon, Cool Tune Q, Effekt.
Welche mal machen was?
Der beschwört einen aus dem Deck, einen Tuner. Ja, genau.
Ja, ist okay.
Alles klar.
So we start with the best normal summon, Cool Tune Q. We summon Red Nova. They activate Memento Fracture Dance, which is like, I think you target a Memento and 1 card and pop both. And if you have Combined Creation, you can even pop 2.
Es schießt eine, weil, oder was?
Genau, schießt eine, wenn ich Memento habe, und wenn ich den dicken hätte, würde ich noch einen weiteren Non-Target schießen.
Die targetet, der erste Pop
Der erste
targetet aber.
der zweite nicht. Ja.
Und du möchtest Q schießen.
Genau.
All right, they target Q to pop it.
Kurz überlegen.
And I think I'm gonna decide to chain the Cool Tune Synchro here.
Darauf
To search and dodge.
Die addet eine Cool Tune Karte und dann kann ich Synchro beschwören.
Der zweite Effekt von ihm, wenn er gesynchro wird, ist welcher?
2 der Karten, der obersten 2 der Karten angucken, eine benchen, eine entweder oben oder unten.
Cool Tune Q. Honestly,
Final Bringer, Dark Blade Q.
I think Cool Tune Q is better than Cool Tune Clip. I said it. I think the graveyard effect of Cool Tune Q is actually better than Clip. Because it's not random. Because you manipulate their top deck and you can banish one-offs from the main deck.
Dann suche ich mir eine Cool Tune.
Which can often be more important than a random extra deck banish. Is that really a hot take? Maybe not. It's just a new take, I guess, because I wasn't feeling that way about it yesterday. The German is throwing me off. I'm going to locals in Germany. What do you want me to do? I can mute it completely, but I feel like it's better for the atmosphere if a little bit of background noise is there from locals.
Rest, okay? Also ich mache keine Synchro. Damit ich die 4 aktivieren.
Die gibt dir eine zweite Normal.
Genau.
Was macht ihr sonst?
Ich kann ein...
Okay, so this is one of the downsides, I think, of summoning Red Nova in general. Because Red Nova does not have the effect that you can use tuners in your hand. Summoning Red Nova with Q is really vulnerable to like removal. Because if they remove the Q from the field, it's not as simple as, well, use Red Nova and a monster from your hand to make a synchro.
Tuner tributieren.
You have to get another tuner onto the field.
Und wenn du
Which is why it's, I think, pretty smart that they used the Final Bringer of the End Times onto the queue.
3-3 Angriff.
And then they use Cosmic on my field spell to prevent the extra normal summon. So all things considered, this is pretty rough for me. Because now I have a Red Nova and I need a way to get another monster onto the board.
Ich einen Stone Sweeper.
Gonna use the Stone Sweeper here. Potentially bait an Ash. I don't know if they can't play Ash in Memento anyways, but luckily my hand was completely insane and I have the Synchro Overtake as well.
Damit
So I'm just gonna be popping off here anyways. Even though they tried to stop my extra normal summon, I just activate Overtake. Easy clap.
Wird sehr helfen.
Mix, Special Mix.
Wenn Monster-Effekt aktiviert wird.
Step 3 nehme.
Ja, okay, ist okay. 1 Stick.
Ja, Battleface.
And now, I mean,
Der erwähnt Rico
did we already? We didn't resolve Q yet. No, we didn't.
oder Brave.
So we don't know what the top deck is gonna be, but it's okay. Honestly, the play here, I'm not sure what the play here is. It could be, it's probably special mix, search Q, then make Synchro 5 with mix and Q so that we can manipulate the top deck. Then we can turn Remix and Red Nova into Loudness War. That triggers Red Nova to special Rico, and then Rico searches Clip for their turn. Which is not what I'm doing. Which I'm not doing the best plays yet because I haven't played this deck much at the time.
1, 2.
But I do think that's the best line here, the one that I just said. What I'm doing here is probably fine because this game, quite frankly, is probably not losable from this position.
Dann bekomme ich einen Rico. Auf die Hand hätte ich gerne Cool Tune Synchro. Effekt zum Suchen von einem nicht Level 3. Das wird Cool Tune Clip.
Josh is seeing the lines I'm happy well afterwards. I mean, that's what it's good for, right? That is the entire idea. Also, Josh, where did you get the Mole Charmy sleeves? Oh, I figured you would like them. I figured you would like the Mole Charmy sleeves. And also, thank you for giving me an opportunity to pluck the sponsor. They're from Young Cards. They import OCG sleeves from well, the OCG and then sell them over here. And you can use Josh 10 for 10% off. There's a command for it in chat right now. People have been using it. So all kinds of OCG sleeves, OCG playmats, and everything. Go check them out. Use Josh 10. I love those Charmy sleeves. I'm not using them in Genesis for obvious reasons, but I love those. They do ship worldwide, yeah. I mean, of course, the shipping costs are going to vary, but yeah. I mean, all things considered, we're still ending on Trackmaker plus Red Seal here, which covers the top deck against Memento. It's probably fine either way, but resolving Q here would have been really nice.
Dann würde ich gerne in die Battleface gehen. Und der greift an. Der kriegt für jeden Tuner im Grave, in beiden Graves 300 Angriff. Ich hab
So, what is this? 6 tuners? Dude, Red Seal just casually sitting at 3,500 on my first turn. It's so stupid.
Tuner sind
It's so funny to make a level 5 synchro attack and then you count the tuners and you're like, oh, wait, this thing actually has 5,000 attack.
Set eine. Und dann.
Kenn ich nicht, ich kenne nur den Field Spell in der Hand, richtig?
Du kennst theoretisch die Quick Play Spell.
Okay, dann könnte die.
Die könnte da liegen, ja.
Draw for turn?
Ja.
I bought the Dragon Ruler sleeves with your code yesterday. Dude, the Dragon Ruler sleeves are also insane. And thank you for using the code.
Ich habe doch die Karte. Habe ich den obersten Deckkartenangriff schon? Nein.
Nee, die habe ich geschossen.
Ah ja, richtig. Nee, du hast recht. Du hast recht. Ich hätte gerne.
I mean, there's no way they can play around Clip, non-target bounce, and Red Seal negate with this, right? I just like use Clip now, non-target bounce the mace,
Special sich.
and then
Den 2 mache ich ein.
I non-target bounce the mace, and then I have RS to negate whatever the last card in their hand is, right?
Einmal Random Extra Deck und einmal Non-Target Bounce.
Can you use them at YCSs, the sleeves? Yes, you can, because they are official Konami product. They're from the OCG, but they are still official Konami product, which is legal as per the rules.
Ja, dann gehen wir nächstes.
All right, and that's game one.
Fehler zum Glück.
Against Memento, in the side deck, we've got DD Crows, and the rest is kind of whatever. I could side Ultimate Slayer, but realistically, I have like so many hand traps in my main deck. The goal in this matchup is to just hand trap them to death, which is not my favorite way of approaching a matchup, or not the most fun way to approach a matchup necessarily, but going second against Memento with this deck in Genesis format, that's just gotta be the plan. So I'm taking out some engine, and I'm adding DD Crows. All right, and now we try to draw as many hand traps as possible. And we have a Bell, we have an Ogre, and we have a Crow. That's pretty solid against Memento. They start with Radiant Typhoon Vision to search MST. You can Bell this, by the way, if you want to. You can Bell this because it can add MST from deck or grave. For obvious reasons, I decided against it. Didn't care about this MST being added to hand. Obviously, them using Vision to add MST means one of two things. Either they don't have another quick play, so they can't activate it to draw two, or they have a second copy and they want to deck thin beforehand. It is the latter. So they draw two, discard MST. Activate the horse. The horse is prime. Ghost Ogre target. Honestly, this is dangerous because Ghost Ogring the horse enables a bunch of extenders for them, like Memento Infusion or Sleepy. I could have let the horse resolve and belled Gaddock in the graveyard or crowed Gaddock in the graveyard. That could have been a really good play. However, that still, because the horse gets destroyed, that still makes cards like Memento Infusion and Sleepy live. And also, Ghost Ogre is at its maximum value here. Like, Bell gets better later on, but this Ghost Ogre does not get better than this. So I'm using it here. And they do have Sleepy to punish this, which is a really good punish. Because Memento Infusion, I can Bell. Sleepy, I can't Bell. So at this point, I'm scared. They go Sleepy plus Trihorn to make Twin Dragon. And at this point, I'm like, I've played a lot of Memento. You know this, right? I'm pretty familiar with all of the Memento cards and lines, but not that much in Genesis format. I just know that if this happens in TCG or Master Duel, like Advanced Constructed, I know I'm cooked, even with two hand traps in hand. I know that I'm cooked in Master Duel or Advanced if this happens. Even with Crow Bell in hand. If they play it properly, I get cooked. But it's Genesis, which is not the exact same. Oh, important. Doggo at locals spotted. Huge, massive moment.
Ich wollte einfach nur ein Viech loswerden.
It took, you guys have no idea how much energy it took, how much focus to not move my head when the dog was there. I was so ready to say hello to the dog, but I was content brained to the max. It was really difficult.
Okay, dann, also du gehst in die Endphase und dann muss ich überlegen, was machen wir hier.
Ein Skeptic, 2 Sleepy.
Jo.
Und was wieder, hier passiert gar nichts, ne?
Majora, thank you for the prime. I appreciate that so much.
Gaddock für Fusion.
Okay, dann.
All right, so Gaddock comes back. I decide to not Crow or Bell the Gaddock because I feel like it's not worth it. because the body on the board isn't worth much in Genesis format because you can't link with it. And if I crow the Gaddick, they can still use Memento Infusion to banish itself to search. So I was hoping that they would go Gaddick, target Fusion, so I can get a 2-for-1 with my crow. I can stop the Gaddick effect, and I can stop the Fusion in the graveyard. And I do think they went Gaddick. They went Gaddick for hold up. They went Gaddick for Fusion here. And what I'm realizing is they can't link these two off because it's Genesis format. And they have exactly 5 mementos in the grave right now. So if I crow this Fusion and they don't have a way to extend, they can summon Combined Creation. It is in their hand, but they have nothing in the graveyard then, which is not very threatening. So I crow the Fusion here, and that puts them in a really awkward spot. Nerva? Didn't they add some points to Nerva because it kind of works like a link monster? Let me check. Yeah, Nerva is 5 points. I think Memento can't play it. But also, I think Nerva needs 3 monsters, no? Even if they played it, they couldn't make it here. Dude, I draw a second crow per turn, which is so busted because I can crow the Akihiron and I don't have to worry about anything. And we start with Overtake. Dude, Overtake, if there's anything to take away from today's like games, Overtake is so good in this deck. Overtake is awesome. Starter, extender, can summon from grave, everything. It does everything for this deck, which is also why I really like the spell that searches Overtake. Even if it's a little bit clunky, you know, you need a tuner on field or grave. It's not a 1-card starter. I think having a spell that can search Overtake or Cool Tune Synchro is phenomenal. So the Duelist Genesis spell, I think, is also worth playing. I love it. All right, so we Overtake for mix. I found myself using Overtake for mix the majority of the time. Of course, you have 2 options. It's either mix or Rico. I went for mix maybe every time, almost every time. Because I think using your special summon on mix and then searching Q is just a really nice line. So they chalice the mix. And this is where my advanced knowledge comes in from yesterday's stream, because we talked about this yesterday, where you guys taught me that if mix gets, or if any of them gets impermed, you can still use material from your hand as synchro material, because that's a condition and not an effect, so chalice doesn't negate it. That's actually something I didn't know yesterday either, but when we built the deck, you guys told me this, which actually might help quite a bit here. This is locals, yes. Here it's hard to say what the best option is. I mean, we know 2 cards in hand. We know 1 card in hand is Combined Creation. I think the other card is unknown. So probably best to... Oh, dude. I think this is where I go for a remix line. I mean, I have Crow and Bell in hand. I'm probably fine.
der ist gechallenged.
Ja, das
Geht
ist
das dann?
eine Condition, ja.
Okay.
Hab ich heute im Stream
Dude, I say this with so much certainty here. When I didn't know this, how it worked like 2 hours prior to this. But I said it like, yeah, dude, of course not, dude. It's obviously a condition, bro.
Ich dachte, ausgeht nicht.
But I did also in my I did say that chat told me this on stream. I did tell them like I thought it didn't work, but stream told me differently. All right,
So,
I gave you a shout out there.
1 zum Suchen, 2 zum Schießen von Gattig und Clip für den extra Finish.
Ja.
I was trying so hard to clip hit the combined creation out of the extra deck,
Umschauen, große Fusion.
but I hit Valon.
Okay, dann Schuss den da und ich resolve einen Search auf.
I'm not gonna lie, the clip banish never mattered throughout the entire local yesterday. The clip banish is like, it has the potential to be annoying for some decks, but in practice, I think it doesn't actually matter. I think Q, yeah, I mean, we talked about this already. Q is so much better. Q is so much better for this. Bro, the Akihiron, they are mega pissed right now. It could reach critical mass once they get Cool Tune Crackle in the next pack. But we're gonna talk about this after the locals games when we look at the support again. With the experience from today's gameplay, basically. But once you get the new support, it might actually be critical mass. So this board is, I think this is the play I was referring to earlier. I attack over the Goblin here, and then on the opponent's turn, we can do some pretty cool remix stuff.
1,5 über 400. Oh, das ist ein neues Game. Das erste Damage wahrscheinlich.
Ja.
6, 9. Main 2.
Ja.
Set. Ja. Deiner. Ja.
Okay, so what do we know here? We know two unknown. There's 2 unknowns in hand. There is a combined creation in hand with now enough mementos in the graveyard to summon it and also have some mementos left in the grave.
Yep. Field Spell.
They activate the field spell, which in my opinion, this is a slight mistake if they knew what I was going to do with the quick play spell, but I also think once again it's their first time playing against this deck as well. They summon the horse.
Ja.
The horse hits the board. And then activate Cool Tune Synchro, and this is gonna do some pretty nice things. All right, so we search mix.
Einen Mix.
We make remix. This is my favorite play of the deck, basically. I think this is like where I kind of got the hang of how to interrupt with this the best.
Chain Link 1.
So here we go. We make remix. We activate mix and Reco to pop both of their cards. Pop 1 spell, pop 1 monster. And then we still have some pretty nasty plays with the remix to tag out on the opponent's turn still.
Dann was. Wie viele Mementos sind das? Viele. Es sind mehr als 5, ja.
So they have 7 mementos in grave, but they have 2 horses, so they have to keep a horse because they have to shuffle 5 different ones. So they can keep horse plus 1 other.
Also, ja, Race ist okay.
Without Zeren, Ash on Synchro and Bell on Remix are so scary. Yeah, Zeren is going to help this deck a ton.
Der muss immer bleiben.
Zeren better be crazy pointed. In Genesis, yes. Yes. I haven't given up hope that this deck could eventually see play in Advanced Constructed with the new support.
Also,
But in Genesis, they gotta put points on Zeren, yeah. Alright, so the big creation comes out, and they have no play left other than go into the battle phase here, of course. In the battle phase, I am going to activate Cool Tune Remix. I'm just...
also der sagt, während deines Zuges kann kann ich ihn tributieren.
Ja.
2 Nicht-Synchro-Tuner in meinem Grave wählen.
I'm explaining to them what they do.
Ich würde mal End of Main callen.
End of Main ist okay.
Battle.
Ja.
The cool thing about Remix is that it's not main phase only, so you can actually use it anytime. So I activate it here. And this is where I'm going to be targeting 2 tuners. Add 1 to hand, special 1, and then I can synchro. But you are not forced to synchro with the one that you summon. So what I'm doing here is I'm summoning Clip and Mix. I'm summoning Mix, I'm adding Clip, and then I'm synchroing with Trackmaker and Clip, leaving the Mix on the board, which makes it so that the Mix can still search because it's also on special summon. And now they activate Combined Creation to revive. That's fine. As Chainlink 1 because they've got nothing too crazy in the graveyard. And I've got a bunch of triggers now. I've got a non-target bounce, I've got an extra deck banish, and I've got the Mix to search. So gonna be bouncing the Combined Creation back to their hand.
Verwendet wird. Und Chainlink 3 Clip Random X-Rec. Und Chainlink, der, weil der beschworen wird,
How did you find playing the trap? I love it. I love that trap card.
Du kannst den irgendwas banishen.
Surprise.
Wenn du was aktivierst, dann banish ich einen aus dem Grave und kopiere den Grave-Effekt, wenn er für Synchro verwendet wird.
So here, the Combined Creation is going to end up in hand. The extra deck banish, spoilers, is not going to end up mattering. I get a search for follow-up here for Q. I banish Levier, the Sea Dragon, goated. I non-target bounce the Combined Creation to the hand. Combined Creation can revive the horse or the goblin, but because I have Loudness War on the board, that is another interruption. Because if they activate the horse effect or the goblin effect, I can chain Loudness War, banish Mix to pop.
Das ist irgendwie so die einzige Line, die ich so Main 2. Ja. Und dann Effekt.
Chain.
And we chain Loudness War, banish Mix, pop the horse. They don't have enough mementos to summon the 5k. Writings on the wall. Next turn we win. And that is the game. All right, this is the one game where I feel like I played pretty well. After the first 2 games, I was kind of like learning my ways with the deck. So at this point, I'm 3-0, and we've got 1 more round to go, which is round 4. And we lose the die roll in this one. Opponent is going to go first. We have a pretty solid hand. With, what is it? Synchro Overtake, Rico, Ash, Veiler. And they open Raisin. I'm contemplating between Veiler and Ash on the Raisin. I decide to Ash it, which is safer because I think in Genesis they play more copies of Borger and Caesar. So I don't want to be interrupted on that. And they mix it with Regenesis, which is one of the best decks in Genesis format right now, is Vanquish Soul Regenesis. Regenesis is a strong engine that has some pretty strong synergies with Vanquish Soul because they've got some correct attributes. And also Vanquish Soul, of course, with Heavy Borger, can summon a 2500 attack monster. I'm basically forced to Veiler Regenesis Archfiend because it searches an Omni Negate, which luckily forces them to pass. And I draw for turn a Cool Tune Synchro, and they activate another copy of Regenesis Code in my draw phase to get to the Omni Negate. Yeah, so that is Regenesis Sage, which is by tributing another Regenesis, it's an Omni Negate. But once again, my hand is nuts. My hand has everything. I've got Overtake, Normal Summon, Cool Tune Synchro, and another engine in hand. It's crazy. So even though there's an Omni Negate and potentially something in hand, there's no way I can't push through this. A lot of my hands is nuts this locals. I did draw well this locals. Yes, I did draw well this locals. Considering I didn't know how to play the deck perfectly either, it was pretty nice. Is this deck decent in advanced format? Can it compete at regional open level? No. No. Not yet. Not yet. Okay. I activate Mix. They negate it with Sage, which I clarified with them is negate and destroy. So what I'm doing is I'm chaining Cool Tune Synchro now, which is not going to force my mix through, but it's going to make use of the body at least. I can make a synchro with it before it gets destroyed. Spezi Zero on the table is a crime? Is it a crime because they're drinking Spezi, or is it a crime because they have a beverage on the table during locals? What's the crime? Or both? What is the particular problem? Both? I don't know, I like it. It's not mine, but I like it. This is something I walked into a lot during this locals, is like, I was making a synchro here. I mentioned this earlier already. And like level 5, both of the level 5 synchros, which is the easiest to make for Cool Tune, don't advance your game state. It's really hard to put pressure on the board without summoning something that basically like doesn't advance anything. Like I can make Red Seal here, or I can make Remix. Remix is 1500 attack, literally, which is not great. Red Seal is big, but also doesn't really like, it's one hot red basically that you summon, right? So the level 5 options are also like kind of lackluster right now. But okay, I'm going for Remix. Mainly because at this point, this is one game after I did that cool play with Remix against Memento. So all I'm really doing here is I'm chasing that high. I want to get back. I want to get back to where I was last game. I love that play. So I'm gonna summon a Remix in anticipation for their turn. Mix and Rico are gonna, no, just Mix is gonna trigger. I'm gonna pop the Sage. Normal summon Q. At this point, I'm just hoping they don't have points for Nib in that deck, or at least if they do have points for it, they didn't spend it on Nib.
Chainlink 1, Red Nova, Chainlink 2 Maker, Chainlink 3 Q. Q ist oberste 2 Deckkarten aufdecken, eine banishen und die andere entweder aufs oder unters Deck. Nova ist
Take in this moment. Take in this moment, gamers. This moment is important.
Holy Su weg. Shifter darf oben bleiben.
Activate Q graveyard effect. Top 2 cards, Holy Su and Shifter. Banish Su. Shifter to the top of the deck. Completely dead draw next turn. Guess how many Holy Sus they're playing in Genesis format? That's right, 1.
Und ich suche Synchro. Rico Effect. Die Hand war stabil.
And they leave. Dude, that was awesome. Not only banished the one not only banished the one of Holy Su, but also confirmed that they're gonna draw Dimension Shifter next turn, dude. Awesome. Awesome, awesome. Alright. That was crazy. Game 2. Alright, we got Red Nova, Rico, Clip, and Ghost Ogre. So this is the first time we actually have Clip as a hand trap. We have Clip plus Rico, which is decent. That is a spell trap pop from Rico, and we make Red Seal for a negate. Not a bad Clip at all. They start, and this is, I'm really happy. They start with Stake Your Soul, revealing a Dark Monster, which means they're going to be playing via Mad Love, which means my spell trap pop is good value. It's good value. So, I'm contemplating whether I should go for Clip into Red Seal or whether I should go for Ghost Ogre first onto the Vanquish Soul start. Because, like, here's the thing, right? I want to use this Clip, but the Ghost Ogre probably also doesn't get value otherwise. I do decide to go for the Clip because I think it's a cool play and I kind of wanted to show it off. So I'm like, I could Ghost Ogre this Vanquish Soul start. Maybe that even makes more sense, but I'm gonna go for the Clip.
Der summont sich und man kommt sofort eine Synchro.
Genau.
Und wenn er ins 12 geht,
Random X Attack. Banish.
okay.
Habe ich ja aktiviert.
Das ist das Battle Pop.
The bad part is that RS makes Mad Love level 5. Why does that matter?
Ja, 1, 2. Ist die...
Der ist ein Token.
Dann nehme ich die nicht.
We hit Garura, which doesn't matter. Probably an Ultimate Slayer target. And start gets popped.
Was sagt er?
During the main phase banish einen Cool Tune from Grave und Hot Red. Also eine Karte Target in die gehen.
Yeah, okay, for K9. They're not going to play K9 in this deck. They cannot. And they just pass. Then I draw Cool Tune Synchro again. Dude, this round felt nasty. This round really felt nasty.
Press. Perfekt. Perfekt.
Since I have Red Nova in hand, I'm just gonna go Q for mix. Search another Q. I'm gonna synchro with the Red Nova in my hand to make Track Maker. I'm going to activate all of their effects.
Obersten 2.
Gonna reveal Regenesis, Code, and Warrior.
Dark Regenesis gezeigt, ne?
And I think what I do here is I banish Warrior and I put Code. Yeah, banish Regenesis, Warrior, and put Code to the bottom because it's a good draw for them. Technically.
Damit ein Search und damit ein Special.
I think this is just game this turn, or if it's not game this turn, then it's definitely not really breakable. But nah, this has to be game. This has to be game. This is like two massive red seals. I can just make another red seal. I think I'm just trying to figure out a way to make it game without completely getting destroyed by Nibiru, just in case they play one or two copies. So I'm trying to figure out like the minimum amount of resources I have to invest to make it game, and maybe able to keep like, let's say, a Clip in hand or something. I'm not sure, like, what. So second red seal, and then yeah, I go to the battle phase. These two red seals are not big enough yet to attack for game, but Cool Tune Synchro can be activated in the battle phase. So I can go to the battle phase now. If they have Nib, they have to do it now. If not, I'm going to use Synchro in the battle phase to put more tuners in the graveyard to make the red seals big enough. That was the idea here. Yeah, that works.
Can negate once?
There's ones, ja.
Hard once.
Hard ones, ja.
By the way, to beat Nib, this deck just keeps resources like Clip in hand, I suppose. You can, like, going first, a lot of your lines, if you're trying to minimize the chance of getting nibbed, or if you want to play around Nib entirely, you just summon 4 times and get as many Cool Tune Synchro quick plays, traps, or clips in rotation to avoid getting nibbed, yeah.
Das habe ich letzte Runde gemacht, ne? Ja. Jetzt sind sie bei 4-1 jeweils.
Right, yeah, and that's game. All right, and that is Cool Tune Genesis locals. We went 4-0 undefeated, even though, you know, I think you can see some level of progression throughout these 4 rounds. You know, if you if you look at round 1 and then round 3 and 4, you can definitely tell there is a learning curve when you play Cool Tune, and that is something that applies to everybody, even myself. You know, we all have to learn a deck the hard way and mess up a couple of times before we master it. And I by no means have mastered the deck at this point. There's still a lot for me to learn when it comes to Cool Tune. The deck was fun. The deck was fun. It really was. I enjoyed it. It was a fun time. And I'm really glad that I was able to try it in Genesis format, because quite frankly, this locals was a good place to learn how this deck plays. But now that I've seen the kind of stuff that it has, the kind of interactions that it puts up, the kind of win conditions it has, this does not work in advanced constructed format at this point of time. Like it does not have enough to stop decks like Canine Vanquish Soul, Draco Tail, even Radiant Typhoon. Like there's simply no way that these interruptions are good enough. It just does. I mean, yes, technically it has synergies with playing a lot of hand traps. So the idea is always you want to like combine your in-engine interactions with hand traps and stuff like that. And you know what? Once I've learned the deck a little bit better, maybe I'll try to make a version of it work in TCG, like advanced format. Maybe I'll go to locals with it once and try it. Maybe it can do okay. I might try it, honestly. It's a really fun deck. I am tempted to try and make it work. So we'll see about that. But I think like at a competitive level, right? Like at like the higher like regional YCS level, I don't think it's powerful enough as of now.